Good. Oh, were we muted?
No. We should be...
Oh, okay.
Everything is being streamed as far as audio goes. Hello, everybody. Sorry for the
Good
slight
afternoon.
delay.
Yeah,
But
had some technical difficulties we had to sort out real quick, but we should be good to go now. Doubleheader here.
and we got a...
As it's gonna be
What is this? The third game of the NGL
fourth.
season? Fourth.
No, this is the third.
Okay.
Third.
Yeah. So we have a
It's gonna be
double-header tonight.
Portland Pickles up against the Seattle SeaMen. SeaMen. There's a space between there, obviously. They're just men of the sea.
Mm-hmm. Nothing else. And so I believe this is the 7 from both teams, except I don't see Mai in the lobby, which for Creamy's team of SeaMen could be a deciding factor.
Yeah, definitely
Unless
gonna be an X factor in my there.
Seattle Seawater, I'm not sure who that is, but
I
I,
also don't even have their name correct.
it's
That
Seattle
is.
Water or something. I'm not sure. If you could find out who that is real quick. If it's not Mai, yeah, no, it doesn't look like they have Mai. Unless Ash is Mai.
That is Aqua's. That is. So yeah, they are missing Mate. It's a big blow, the first round pick, obviously, by Creamy there.
Is Ash
So
Mai?
no.
Okay.
Oh, Ash is my, from what I've been told.
Okay.
Okay.
So interesting
Once again, this is
name
why I
scheme
hate
that
why
we got
people.
here.
Yeah, hate when people change their name. But you know what? At least we know who it is at the end of the day. Yeah, mine will be there. A matchup against Trizzy can be a good matchup there in the secondary. That's gonna be a comeback. Hit there, picks about 5 yards, and looks to take it for an extra 5-10 in total for a first down.
So Creamy here gonna look to probably maybe not test the Trizzy Mai matchup too much early. Once this game comes down the stretch, though, if Trizzy hasn't been playing often, and his defense when he's active is something that I find pretty hard to deal with. However, if he's not active, that defense, I'm not sure how much help it's going to be against Mai, who's one of the more elite receivers, I think, in the league still.
Yeah, although we're going to see four-man pressure come in from DJKay there, and it's going to actually hit home. A 16-yard sack. Going to push the SeaMen back a little bit.
And one thing I also wanted to get your opinion on is there a line diff in this matchup you see, like, just based off of who's, in this game?
I'd say both lines look relatively even. So we're looking at Dogs Are Awesome, Loba, and Alexander making up the line for Creamy. Meanwhile, you got Az, Fratty, and Tyrone. I wouldn't say there's any like top end super elite names to stick out, but they're all very consistent. Maybe higher mid tier linemen all around.
And already Trizzy making the play on 4th and 8. And he's going to get the first turnover of the game in that Mai matchup. So
Yeah, so just an overthrown corner there, gonna be picked up by Trizzy. And we're gonna see now the Pickles with a chance to score on offense here. Gonna be a big opportunity for them too, if they're able to score. Obviously, getting the first score in off a takeaway means that you're gonna get the ball at half. So if you keep matching with them, it's gonna be good for you. And that's gonna be a 6-yard run by DJKay to begin his drive.
And another interesting thing here, similar to what we saw in the kickoff game for this season, where we had Pokey at safety. Mai is also at safety here. Interesting with how the Shinigami system, puts their stronger receivers at safety. They're more comfortable in these draft tournaments where having a good safety may be hard to come by, but DJ's pass play there is going to tear apart that defense a bit with the prolonged play.
Yeah, that's gonna be where DJ tries to win this battle. He's not gonna try to be the guy to go deep every single play. He's going to be the guy that tries to dink and dunk, get the run play going. As he gets good run here, and actually he has a great lane outside. This might be a touchdown as DJKay will run it in. It's going to be a 36-yard run as he celebrates here. So Pickles do score first.
I love these two celebrations. And DJ made about 5 people miss that play. If somebody clips that, I want to get the actual head count on how many people in that line just missed dives because DJ just juked them out. That was like, the line just disappeared.
So yeah, we're going to see DJ go for the safer play field goal there. And it'll be 7-0.
Look at that.
All right, so now it's going to be Creamy on the back of it here, looking to answer back after a turnover on his first drive. The 24-yard return gets him to the 34-yard line.
So Creamy, as far as I remember, he's been quarterbacking now for a couple months. So I don't know that I can necessarily call him a newer quarterback anymore. He probably has some experience under his belt as he's going to make a difficult crossbody throw there and just hits the open man.
Yep, managed to find his guy there. It's difficult when you go cross body from that far away. The play is so prolonged. You do see separation from sideline to sideline, and it is just very difficult to cover that kind of shenanigans. This is going to be a 12-yard run by Creamy this time. So this time, keeping it on the ground there as they get into more of the compressed red zone. 26 yards separate them from a score.
Big run there from Creamy, and that's, both of these quarterbacks are receivers turned into quarterbacks, so I think the run game here is probably going to be a big strength for both of them as we see back-to-back 10-plus yard runs there by Creamy.
Okay, and here we go. Creamy trying to roll out to his right. Alexander missed his block, so Freddy getting that big pressure almost instantly forces Creamy to throw this one away. So they're now set up with a 2nd and 10 at the 16.
The other thing, though, that the new quarterbacks struggle with is red zone, though. So it'll be interesting to see if he can come up with something to scheme his players open that isn't just running. Nearly had Mai there on the one-on-one, but just overthrows him a little bit.
It's now a 3rd down situation here. You might see a little bit of desperation coming out if they can't convert this play. Yeah, obviously... Oh, okay, we're going to just have a sack there. I was going to say, obviously, you want to at least get something here on this 3rd down, make it a much more manageable 4th, but now it's even worse with a 4th and 21 standing before them.
That was a big break there by the Pickle line. And they're probably going to look to go Mai on Trizzy here, yeah. Just say that first one was a fluke, and he's going to come down with a 2-on-1 right between the 2 defenders there.
There it is. That's why you draft your 50 bots early. Got that guy that you just know it's 4th and long. You just throw it up to them. It's going to be an easy play for them there. It's the 1st and goal from the 1. As maybe Creamy a bit overthinking it there.
Yeah,
Fakes like a run up the middle. A huge penetration by the line.
There was definitely a big window there for the run to get in. And yeah, I think like you said, he hesitated. I think he saw too many people, diving around and just didn't see his window. And they are going to get him with those dives that time. So what was 1st and goal on the 1 is now 3rd and goal on the 10. This is getting more and more difficult here as this drive sort of runs long. And
Okay,
DJ
and that's going to be a pick.
Sniffs that one out. He was right where that ball was thrown before the ball even came out.
Yeah, just looking for the receiver to get open above the safety there, but under throws it to the lurking DJKay. Just stand still in his zone and gets a small return outside. Not to the 20, but he's going to run it up to the 20 on this first play.
Yeah, it was, I guess, like I was saying, with the red zone, it can take months sometimes for quarterbacks to get used to that. I mean, we saw DJ. I think red zone was one of his struggles for a while. I can confidently say he's good at pretty much all aspects of quarterback now. But Creamy, I think there, he's just showing some of the relatively new quarterback struggles there. We have not seen a line leak yet, and I think against DJ's rush, that might be a good idea for Creamy, but DJ, I don't think he even needs to do that with, I stand corrected, they sent for that play.
Yeah, you saw Creamy come in there. He wasn't trying to be aggressive. He was just trying to get up, get in that gap, get the threat of the rush there. You know, maybe pull a lineman, and he actually managed to do that. There's miscommunication. The line dog's able to get in and gets a 12-yard sack. As they're sending it again. This time, though, going to hit his comeback, pick up 8 yards, and keep this drive moving now 3rd and 14 as we're winding down to the end of the quarter.
Yeah, so as those four-mans become more and more prevalent, I think we're going to start to see more of DJ's bag come out. See what kind of plays he has saved up for when the pressure's coming in. Has Trizzy over the middle, and he overthrows him.
Yeah, just getting S-keyed there. You know, DJ maybe getting a little bit impatient, ends up throwing a pick deep.
Yeah, I don't think he acclimated to the four-man quick enough there. Just the pressure made him throw something pretty ill-advised.
Yeah, you know, just getting impatient as we're going to see huge penetration on the line, lots of missed shields, and Green ends up rolling back into Tyrone, who gets a sack. So maybe some of these lines still learning to gel together. Haven't actually played too much, I'm assuming. That draft was only a few days ago.
And I think also that the S-key nerf coming in there, you know, Creamy, under old circumstances, might have been able to step up there, but I think he was slow too much to stand up, and he's going to hit Mai on the sideline there. Huge gain there for the SeaMen.
Yeah, so going to gain all those yards back, 35 in total, gets him over the 50-yard line, and now Creamy back inside Pickle territory, needs to at least strike something here. Get a little bit of momentum. This will be a good run up the gap. Great job juking people out and gets 20 more yards.
Great stam conservation too there. Used all 3 slides on that run while still making moves.
And that's where you get the pluses of being a wide receiver converted over to quarterback. You start seeing that yak, their natural instincts just kick in to make the moves, and benefits them there. But going to be a 1-yard sack on that first down.
And backing, he's backing up a lot on these passing plays, and I can't tell if it's a combination of the D-line setting the edge really fast, or it looks like maybe the edges for Creamy's O-line are dropping back a bit too much. But he has to move backwards as opposed to side to side. And they do chip there to give him some more room. Maybe had a run there, but big stop there by Fratty.
Yeah, Fratty doing his best impression of elite line play there. I mean, maybe it's not an impression, maybe it's just him. Great line play of him, playing very disciplined, getting in when he needs to, keeping that contained. As this one's going to be a throw out of bounds. Trizzy going to catch that one, but doesn't count.
Very nearly a sideline dot again there from Creamy. Just barely overthrows this guy. His running back. And maybe a dog's leak here with DJ rushing into the wall, but
that's interesting. Just a drag all the way from Chief across the field. He doesn't really get lost, doesn't get too much separation, but I guess just kind of being that check down now on the right sideline. Get some 5 yards, but now a 4th and goal situation. Need to convert this. What will Creamy do? End up being a drop back and just trusting his guy left. It's going to be Chief. Picking that one up for 6.
That was an amazing throw. I think it looked like Chief just kept going and he had the ball in his right in his path. Maybe he had to stop right at the end there, but really well placed ball there by Creamy. And he's going to go for 2. And I'm not sure how good of an idea this is. I mean, no, he just hits Chief on the slam route. Right between the zones.
Ideally, you probably don't go for that in a competitive game, but feeling aggressive today, does go for it, picks up the 2, so they do have a 1-point lead, but yeah, you usually want to go for the safer, more guaranteed points. But now this does give them a good advantage going forward.
And a 22-yard return there by DJ. These kick returns, I mean, generally, you see people getting them to around the 30. That's where I'd say the average probably is. So anything more than that, you know, you're putting your team in a position where you got to do a little bit of extra work to put it in the red zone. And we do see that coming into play sometimes. And it looks like both defenses this game are coming up pretty strong. So those extra 10 yards, you know, that's another set of downs that you give the defense to make a play. And so in a game where we've already had a couple turnovers, probably going to want to start turning that around with getting better field position off the start.
All right, so a missed comeback there to Roustock. On the 3rd and 5 here, but DJ gonna keep it in his own hands here, go for a 6-yard run, gets that first down on the left. I'm surprised if he keeps toting it like this, they're not gonna go into like maybe a 4-down lineman. We've been seeing that come out a lot.
Yeah, so I've heard about that formation. Does it line them up in gaps better, or? Oh, and he has Trizzy open.
Didn't wait another second on that one. Pressure coming in, just overthrew Trizzy. So that one, yeah, it kind of gives you more. It puts you directly in those gaps. What you want allows you to just slide and get penetration much faster. Fill a lot easier. It's harder to block initially too. The downside is.
Looks like we're having some internet issues there from Soup. Trizzy gonna hit the left sideline there. 12-yard gain there to get the first. You there, Soup? Ah, well, appears we have lost my booth buddy for today. Not sure what's up with that, but we still have a DJ drive moving down the field here. So 2nd and 6. Now, DJ, I've said this a couple times that the leak is there, but he has Roustock and he just barely overthrows him there. Mai did catch up there, and we see some of the safety prowess there from him. Managing to recover that ground quickly.
And so I guess I'll just be in the booth while he figures out what's going on.
Hello, Vasquez. And in case anybody else is just tuning in, DJ is getting just absolutely smothered by this D-line. A 4-man rush is just getting in basically every play. And we're seeing some of the throws that I see DJ hit somewhat consistently going deep. And with D-line in his face, he's just barely missing them. And that was an amazing throw there to Roustock over 2 defenders, where only Roustock could get that if he came back for it.
Credit to Roustock, too, for coming back for it. Finding the open space, catching the ball in traffic. That's a good play by his number 1 guy.
Oh, and he just barely makes Alexander miss there. But only gets 6 yards for it. DJ's doing a lot of work right now for these short gains. And over time, that's just more and more, you know, times that you're making a risky play where just a little bit of a mouse slip could result in an interception, and he's going to make the safer play and get more yards off of it there. Huge run.
DJ's pocket movement's looking ridiculous right now. Making people miss, getting big runs off. Pretty impressive stuff coming from DJ to stand tall in the pressure.
And he just misses the wide open Trizzy there. Those are the throws I think you don't get to practice a lot under pressure. You could just sit in targets and, you know, throw head height or whatever as much as you want, but it's so much different when you have somebody in between you and your receiver who's just waiting to pick it off if you underthrow it. And we have 3rd and goal here on the 4.
You'd wonder if running weak side is maybe not advisable given that they have Resp, who is, you know, a very good lineman in his own right, playing running back. If he could maybe seal that edge a little bit better than the average running back would be able to.
Yeah, we do see that quite a bit in draft tourneys with running backs who have especially good chips. I remember, I think it was the first NGL season, Jepolistic, who some of you may not even know about, arguably some of the best blocking from running back, as we see DJ hit Trizzy there for the end zone.
That's like an insane throw. Trizzy had somebody behind him and then had somebody playing his underneath, and DJ fits it into a tight window.
Yeah, so that's, I think, more of the accuracy I'm accustomed to seeing from DJ. And we do see 4 down here from Creamy's defense to try to counter the 2-point. And it is going to break through there. Loba with a big sack to stop the 2.
We've seen a lot of that 4-down lineman formation here in the NGL, and one of the things about it that's a little bit interesting is that to pick it up effectively with 3 people and give your quarterback even really a chance, there needs to be like a level of communication between the linemen. They need to all know what they're doing. They all need to have trust that their guy knows their assignment and that they're going to fulfill it. And, you know, that chemistry, it doesn't come immediately. So seeing these new lines play together, it's interesting to see that a lot of them don't really have that chemistry yet. And because of that, the 4-man might be a little bit more powerful than it would be otherwise.
You know, I didn't think about that. And, you know, as they're also making a really good curve slide there to get around the shield in the middle of the field, but Creamy's still going to hit the throw, even with one of the more crowded line situations there right in front of him. And, oh, we only have 20 seconds left here in the half. Chief here going to try to make moves as quick as he can. And that is the last timeout for the Seattle SeaMen. So
And I mean, this is a heck of a drive by Creamy so far to get his, you know, team down to the red zone so quickly. It'll be interesting to see if they can capitalize.
Well,
And
6
if you
yards there.
didn't know, I was gonna say if you didn't know, sorry, that's Aquas playing running back for them.
Okay, yeah, I think Soup said that earlier, but I forgot.
Okay, I was just making sure because he's wearing the Goon Squad skin. So
Huge catch there by Mai on Trizzy there. Stopped right where High Point was going to be almost as soon as that ball came out. And so because of that 2-point stop, they are already in the lead before they go for 2 here. That is why you draft Mai in the first round, though. And he just hits him there on the slant. Same play I think we saw to Chief last 2-point conversion. So I'm not going to show the stats just yet since we have a kick return here. They neglect to kick it out of bounds. Yeah, and they do stop DJ there. So far, Creamy's offense looking pretty good. Especially passing-wise, it is much more high octane than DJ's more run-heavy offense. I mean, we see here he has 93 rushing yards. But, you know, relatively balanced game so far. And here, I'll show some of the stats since there was no halftime. I think the pressure that Creamy's team is getting is manifesting not so much in sacks, but in just how DJKay is playing. Because if we look here, I mean, they're not getting quite as many, sacks on the stat sheet as DJ's team. But if we look at the impact, you know, they're winning by 3 points, and I think a lot of that is because there's constantly somebody in DJ's face that he has to focus on getting around.
And you wonder if they're maybe playing a little bit too aggressive, as DJ's had a lot of long run opportunities. He's been able to break off those longer runs that normally you wouldn't be able to get if the line's playing a little bit more passively. Whereas you see that Az has 3 sacks, but 2 of them were run stops in the red zone, directly responsible for giving DJ's team the ball back. So if they stay in this 4-down lineman formation, I'd imagine that they're going to keep getting pressure. But
Yeah, and You know, I think there are going to be a lot of plays, though, since it is so high risk, high reward. You know, that's 2 consecutive sacks for 30 yards there. And they are starting to, you know, put in some of the stats to show, you know, the difference that they're making. And here we see one of the runs that we were talking about. This could, it takes back half of the distance to the first.
Yeah, you see that the linemen are just rushing upfield. They're getting immediate penetration, trying to force DJ to get rid of that ball. But DJ very wisely is hanging onto that ball, trying to bait out dives, trying to sort of find a gap to step up into, and getting these long runs and punishing them for their aggressiveness.
Yeah, so DJ here going to roll out left. You know, his line creates a nice pocket there for him to evade some of that pressure. And he is going to hit Trizzy there. Great catch by Trizzy, though, with a man trying to take that from him. And so now we are going to start to see some chips from Resp here to get the weak side run. DJ takes that for 18 yards. Big blocks there, though, from his team.
I feel like every time we've seen DJ just take off and run, it's been 10 plus yards. You wonder why he even is throwing it. I feel as though, you know, if they're going to let you have that run consistently, you might as well just take it.
Yeah, no, I think we are going to start to see some more run-heavy offense from him. Because, I mean, it's not like he's run a ton, I'd say, in this game. He's just, every time he goes, he just goes. And if we didn't have negative rushing yards for sacks there, we might already be in the, 200 rushing yards territory for his team. And he'll probably look to just run this one up the middle. Yep, right through that left gap.
I couldn't tell what happened there, if Alexander got bashed or if he backed up into coverage, but he was not there to stop that weak side run, and DJ just having a free lane, putting 6 on the board.
Yeah, there was nobody there to stop that run. DJ was just home free from the moment he got to the line. Nice play call there. And he is probably going to keep taking advantage of this super aggressive rush there.
Ramey's team, on the other hand, I mean, they've just been efficient. He's 13 for 17, 200 yards, the half. I think at this point, he's pretty much shown that, they have to respect the overtop. They have to respect the fact that he'll throw that ball deep and that he does, in his mind, not fear these Pickles receivers. He's willing to throw it up on Trizzy and on Ralstock because he feels like his guys are pretty good. He took Chief in the second round, Mai in the first round, and Aquas. Aquas' name is Seattle Waterboy, but anyone who's been in the community long enough knows that Aquas is a very competent receiver as well, so as Karimi takes off for a big run.
Yeah, Creamy's saying, I got legs too. 18-yard run there by Creamy. So DJ has been playing, I think, a bit more of a passive QB spy play style. So big runs from Creamy are gonna, I think, take a bit more effort, and we are gonna see the dogs leak there. But he is gonna have Mai open on the comeback. That's gonna go for another 15 yards. And another thing I was curious about, I think I brought this up briefly with Soup. Ralstock on Chief, Trizzy on Mai. And, last I checked in on, I guess, where the power rankings or coverage were, and this was when Trizzy wasn't super active. Ralstock was, pretty up there. And so I'd imagine you'd want him on who's probably one of the better offensive receivers in the game right now, Mai. But Trizzy so far already does have a pick on Mai.
I think that there's a little bit of familiarity between Ralstock and Chief. They both have played together on teams for a very long time, dating all the way back to, I believe they were on Burger People together. I think that these two are very familiar with each other, and I think that plays a big role in how well you can cover somebody. I think that Chief runs his routes a little bit unorthodox. He likes to run them backwards a lot. And I think Ralstock on Chief is probably the matchup that they felt most comfortable with. With Trizzy, not being a bad receiver in his own right, maybe with DJKay shading over to his side. to help him out with the 50 ability that mine possesses.
Yeah, I had actually forgotten that these two were, teammates in the past. Burger people to me that's just like a different era almost at this point, but
And their teammates now on title too. So
oh yeah. I'd almost forgotten that with the Chief wearing the alien skin.
right.
Creamy here. I mean, his red zone play has gotten better as this game is going on. Two successful 2-point conversions, and he's just gonna hit Mai there over Trizzy. Looks like a pretty good throw too. I don't think Mai had to do too much to catch that.
Yeah, Creamy is a pretty accurate quarterback. I mean, he'll fit those passes into those tight windows, and like I said, he doesn't really play with a lot of fear. He'll try and make every single throw that there is to make. He won't hit all of them. Nobody really hits all of them, but he's definitely very confident in his sort of accuracy, and he loves to try and make those contested throws as he tries another one there that unfortunately doesn't pan out.
So that is going to be the first 2-point stop. And so now only 2 points in the lead. A field goal from DJ will swing the tide of this game if some stops are made. So something to look out for as we draw closer to the fourth quarter here.
And I think at some point they're going to have to do something to stop this run game. If DJ's allowed to just keep running this ball, sort of hanging onto it and like chewing clock, it's going to be pretty difficult for them to get back into this game as he's really kind of dictated the flow of the game, even though Creamy's offense has been very high-powered.
Yeah, especially as the game draws closer to the end. Yeah, that ability to just control the pace of the game is going to make a bigger impact, but Loba says, I'm not letting you control anything about this game. Big 9-yard sack there to take it to 3rd and 18.
Yeah, and they're pushing him back now. That was two really good plays by the line here to sort of step up and make plays when it got to crunch time. If they can get the ball back for Creamy here in this offense that's been running pretty... Oh, ugh. I might have spoke too soon, DJ, with a big run there to bring it to 4th and short.
Yeah, so DJ's offense has been... I'd probably look for something cross-body here to Trizzy. I don't see him running on 4th and 3. And we are only going to see a 3-man rush. Interesting decision there by Creamy. Yeah, and he's just going to hit Trizzy on the cross-body comeback.
And DJ, man, like, one of the things that, if you've played with DJ a lot, you know about him is he loves throwing crossbody.
Oh, yeah.
He might even be more comfortable throwing crossbody than, the way he's rolling. So it makes it tough as a DB because you want to play a little bit more lax on the guy who's crossbody. But DJ, I mean, he'll always keep you on your toes. He'll make those throws, and he'll make them with confidence and with accuracy.
Yeah, I think especially early on when he was kind of newer to the quarterbacking game, for me personally, that was one of the hardest things to adjust to when I was trying to stop him on defense. Like I feel like I do well, and they just leave crossbody completely open that play. And he is going to be the first quarterback to see that open. 17-yard gain there by Resp. But anytime you play against him as a corner crossbody, you think, oh, most quarterbacks don't hit that. And then the ball just goes up, and you realize you can't catch up in time because he's with those crossbody throws, he's also unnaturally accurate sometimes, it feels like. And we do see him go straight down the field there, and he just barely overthrows Ralstock. Almost picked off by Mai.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know about that read. Mai definitely shading over to Ralstock's side. It didn't look like there was a window there. DJ might have saw something we didn't, but he's a little bit lucky that he overthrew that. I feel like that would have been a very difficult throw to complete.
Yeah, maybe it would have been able to be underthrown a bit, where Ralstock just has to run to the high point quicker than Mai can get there, but that would have been almost an inhuman throw to make there. And we do see a big sack there to bring it back to 3rd and 25. So, oh, Loba just barely missing the sack there. Has Trizzy over the middle. It dots him on the post. 40-yard gain there. That looks like it was almost a max distance throw, too, while on the run away from the D-line.
Such an insane throw, man, to be rolling all the way back into the red and then find the guy on the post who has leverage, and not even a ton of leverage, maybe like 2-3 steps, and to hit him in stride. That's one of those throws that, you know, you really, as a receiver, you don't even expect it when it comes at you. DJ running in there for a touchdown.
We see that run up the middle again for another conversion in the end zone. So, I'd imagine they go for 2 here. Yeah, you go for 2 here to go up 6. Not sure what he has drawn up here, though, for a quick 5-yard gain in the end zone. Does send Tyrone on the leak, tries to hit Trizzy crossbody, and Aquas is ready for it, undercuts the route, and he picks it off.
And that's such a big stop on the 2-point, because this defense must be feeling a little bit, you know, annoyed and a little bit discouraged. I mean, the line definitely did a better job there than they have on any previous drive. They drove back DJ into the, you know, slowdown multiple times. They sacked him and made it 3rd and long, 4th and long multiple times. And that offense, man, it just kept churning and churning. And those are the drives that really get you down as a DB, get you down as a lineman, where you feel like you're doing everything you can, but you just can't quite get that final stop, that final pick, that final sack to get your team the ball back.
Yeah, so with 3 minutes left in the 4th here, it's unless Creamy has a really fast drive here, it looks like DJ is going to end up with the final drive. And Creamy, though, already running out the clock. I'm not sure how easy it is to run 3 minutes off the clock, though, in one drive.
Yeah, it seems like it's a pretty tough task. I mean, that last drive that we were just talking about was pretty long, and that drive, they got the ball back with about a minute left. Or, they got the ball back, and they took about a minute off the 3rd quarter and then gave it back with 30 seconds taken off the 4th, so they only had the ball for about a minute and a half. To think that they could really run off that much time, I think that this might just be them hedging their bets, knowing that they're probably going to score here, as their offense hasn't really been stopped to this point, except for that one time in the red zone, and feeling as though their defense, that's been coming alive a little bit more here in the 4th, can make a stop.
And quick update, I did have the score off by 1 for the SeaMen there. Thank you for letting me know in the chat. Creamy here. Gonna look to put points up on the board, though, so that way I can update his score again. And no longer running the clock here. Might have just been trying to come up with a play when we were looking at the clock earlier. Has a bunch of blockers here to go up the sideline. 13-yard gain there. Could have been a bit more, though, if that... Well, I think that was a Ryle stock there that managed to set the edge on the sideline.
So what do you do if you're
further.
Creamy here? It's a little bit of an awkward timing, because you could score immediately, but then you give them 2 minutes to score with 3 timeouts. You could try to run the clock, but at most you're going to run about a minute off the clock and then give them the ball back, still with 3 timeouts. This is a tough situation to be in. You never want to say that you kind of scored too quickly or that you moved upfield too quickly, but it feels as though, I mean, they're already here. They're knocking on the door of the end zone, and the timing might end up biting them in the, you know, the posterior.
That might not matter here, though. We have 3rd and 22. I mean, Creamy's been pretty good about converting on 3rd and 4th down situations so far this game. But with another sack from Tyrone there for 15 yards, if we have 4th and 37, I'm probably just going to look to go to my here on the right side here. But
and you'd have to think this 50's for the game. I mean, they do have 3 timeouts, so never say never, but you'd think that if they give DJ the ball back here... Oh, and they do!
Tyrone with potentially the game-ending sack there. forces the turnover, and DJ's already inside the 40 with that run. He could put it away here with this drive. Even if Creamy gets the ball back before the game ends. Huge play there by Tyrone.
And now score comes into play because even a field goal helps you here. They're only up by 4, so a field goal makes it a 7-point game. Obviously, you'd like to come away with 6, but if you have to take a field goal, you have to, at the very least, guarantee yourself points if you're DJ here.
Oh, maybe he has Trizzy there. Oh, just throws it away. Trizzy, right at the end of that play, though, had Aqua's beat going straight up the field. Still would have been a dangerous throw. Even for DJ, who likes those crossbody throws, but there are opportunities here for him to win this game on the spot. We only have 1 minute left here in the fourth.
So that 1 minute warning is going to serve as the first Seattle timeout, essentially, as they now have to stop him here. Otherwise, they are really, really in a lot of trouble.
And yeah, so we already have 10. I'm not sure how much. I don't remember exactly how much they could shave off per play, but the thing is they don't even need to score, so they could just shave off the max amount. And yeah, that's 20 seconds. So Seattle electing not to use a timeout there. Yeah, they used their first one there. It will not matter though if DJ gets this first. I know that much for certain. And Alexander gonna make the big stop there, diving at the line. DJ runs right into Alexander on the ground there. Good read, knowing where DJ probably wanted to go. DJ rolling right and decides to go back left. Has a lot of time here. Sees Raustock in the one-on-one. And Raustock coming up with the big catch there to seal the game.
The number 1 overall pick, Raustock in the corner. DJ not having the run there. Good job by that line. Diving into those gaps and staying, around the line of scrimmage to make that run not as, accessible as DJ might have wanted it. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's gridiron. If you've got your 50 bot out there and he's got even a step, you throw that and you see what happens.
Yeah, as you said, number 1 overall. That is why you draft Raustock that early. You could trust him to come down with that. And that,
Huge.
Barring 7 disconnects from DJ's team, that will be all she wrote. Huge way to seal the game there. Tyrone coming up, right at the end there, forcing that turnover. And, DJ's game management just coming in clutch at the end there. And yeah, there's that's the icing on the cake. So
And it's crazy to think how clutch this line came up, because you'll remember in the first half, Creamy, he had first and goal, second and goal within 5 yards, and As Eaton Season got 2 back-to-back run stops in what is a very difficult thing to do, especially because they were in 3-4. And then DJ got that pick.
Oh my God.
Stress getting big.
then I'm gonna be honest. That is not who I expected to win a 50 this game. On multiple people. But, Resp surprising me there. Not that will affect the outcome of this game. Does point differential affect anything in the league?
I believe it is a tiebreaker. But
All right, so I mean, yeah, that could help them down the line. So 38-22, probably gonna be your final score here. Oh,
man, what a game! What a game by both sides, and just what it really boiled down to is at the end of the game when the chips were down, or in the red zone when the chips were down, DJ's players, they just showed up and they made those clutch plays. Az with a huge stop, DJ with a pick in the red zone, Tyrone obviously with back-to-back sacks, and Ralstock with that huge catch to put the game out of reach. Looks like Chief caught that.
Yeah, he did on 2 people there. I think Aquas and one other person. So I unless they've recently updated that, that will not count on the stats sheet. That may be added after the game to
I'll add it.
whatever Excel sheet there is, but this is your final stat sheet. I believe one person did leave before the game ended on Creamy's team. Mai actually. But looking at the yardage here, Mai had over 100 receiving yards. And a pick, I believe, unless Aquas was the only one to come down with a pick for them. But the real tell of the game is these sack numbers from both teams. And this rushing yard number for DJ, 138, despite the fact that he took multiple 10-plus yard sacks during this game. Almost 140 yards rushing. And taking advantage of some of that aggressive line play from Creamy, sending for most plays, does come back, to be potentially what lost him the game. So I don't know if this is a trend with these games, but I remember last time Soup asked me, who I thought the MVP of the game was. I think it may be Tyrone, just for coming up huge and forcing that turnover with 2 back-to-back sacks. And, leading his team in sacks as well. All around solid play from him.
Great game by both teams, as we now have to transition to the second game of this doubleheader. MVP and his Brooklyn Blue Devils facing off versus Blazing Bow and his Boise Blackhawks.
Yeah, so I do not have a banner ready for this. I was not going to be the one streaming originally, so this is not the matchup that we have. Here, it's going to be Boise against, who was it?
It's Boise versus the Blue Devils, but you
Okay.
can throw on whatever screen.
Okay. Yeah, so here. Okay. And Boise, if I remember correctly, was 0-1 after that first game.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're gonna go offline for a moment to
Okay.
give the teams get ready. Give the teams the time to get ready. But we'll be back live in about, let's say, 5 minutes to give you the second game of this doubleheader.
Yep. We'll see.